Thank you for being a part of the Prison Professors program. Every day we try to create new content that will help people going into the criminal justice system understand why every decision they make is so relevant. Nobody wants to go to prison, but the sooner a person begins sowing seeds for a better outcome, the more likely that person becomes to engineer a pathway to get the outcome that he wants. My name is Michael Santos. I didn't make good decisions at the start of my journey, and as a result, I served 26 years in federal prison. Nobody can serve that much time in prison and not want to do something to improve the outcome. The question is reach, and the question is whether we can communicate the message in a manner that helps people understand how crucial every decision that person makes. And today, with new laws like the First Step Act, implementation of the Second Chance Act, information that's coming from the Department of Justice, the importance of developing a strong self-advocacy strategy is more important than ever. And that's the reason that we make these videos. Today I want to look at the Department of Justice's website, and I think this is going to become a regular staple or a habit of the Prison Professors program because there's just so much information here. Anybody can go to the Department of Justice's website. It's just at justice.gov. And you can see one of the things that we can do is just scroll down here and just take a look at what is relevant. Yesterday I filmed a video that spoke about this article right here, which really provides a lot of valuable information, particularly this bullet point that says $1.6 billion, an increase of $669 million, will implement further reforms to the criminal justice system and continue critical investment and implementation of the First Step Act of 2018. That salient point can be extremely influential in designing an effective mitigation strategy. Remember, when designing a mitigation strategy, we're not really thinking so much about our life, but rather we're thinking about the people we're going to meet in the future, and we're thinking about what can we do to influence those people so they're not looking at us solely for the worst decisions that we made, or the decisions that we made that put us into the crosshairs of the criminal justice system. Certainly we understand that many decisions or many situations should be resolved in a non-criminal manner, but in this era of mass incarceration, sadly, many people are being brought into the criminal justice system and they don't really understand how they got there or what steps they could be taking to influence a better outcome. And so I would encourage you to read this article or look on our blog. You can look at our blog right here. Just click on the blog at our website at Prison Professors, go to blog, and this is the article that I'm talking about. You will notice if you click on it, I made a video about it and gave you some insights on what I think a person should be doing before or at the earliest possible stage. Now, the article that I want to look at today is I want to go back to the news section and just kind of profile some of the people that are being brought into the criminal justice system and talk about, well, what would mitigation have looked like at different stages? Let's just take a look at this person. It's a jury convicts a West Virginia doctor of drug distribution. Now, a physician clearly made a huge investment in his education, in becoming a good citizen and a contributing citizen. I mean, their motto as a physician is to do no harm and to try and help and serve others. Sadly, that's not how the Justice Department is looking at this individual right now. And when an individual from a position like this gets brought into the criminal justice system, we all should learn. We all should learn and say, how, if the government can go after somebody like this, a physician, what can they do to me? And what am I doing that could potentially arouse the suspicions of a government investigation and launch this intrusion into my life? So let's just read it. This is Friday, May the 28th. Today is June the 1st. So this was published on Friday, the Friday before Memorial Day. Today is Tuesday, the first week of June, the first Tuesday in the week of June 2021. And let's see what we have here. A federal jury convicted a West Virginia doctor on Thursday for prescribing buprenorphine, a product in violation of the Controlled Substances Act. What is the Controlled Substances Act? Well, that's the act that the Drug Enforcement Administration really oversees. So here we have a medical professional, a doctor, who is being lumped in together with people who sold cocaine and fentanyl and marijuana illegally. I guess it's legal in many states now, but it's just violating the Controlled Substance Act. So we can say right from there, the justice system is not looking at this man as a physician. They're looking at this man as a drug dealer. That's just from the first sentence. And so we have to take that into our calculus if we're going to be thinking about an effective mitigation strategy. Let's continue reading. According to court documents and evidence presented at trial, Sriramloo Kesary, MD, of Charleston, distributed the drug Suboxone outside the scope of professionals and not for a legitimate medical purpose. Now, many physicians will say, I'm a doctor, I'm the one with the training, and I have the knowledge to know how to dispense medicine. But we served time with many people in federal prison who had that same mindset. And we have to, again, put our head look at our problem from the perspective of the people who are looking at us and say, okay, what can we do? What should we do? And the sooner we do that, the better off we are going to be. Kesary, or I'm still going to refer to him as Dr. Kesary, who was at times physically located in California, operated a cash-only operation whereby he would sign prescriptions that his employees would distribute in exchange for cash payments. There's another salient point. So again, mitigation is about risk assessment, risk analysis. If I'm operating a business that is a cash-only business in the medical profession, I should probably do a risk assessment on my business practices. The sooner I start a mitigation strategy, the more effective I can become in avoiding the type of problem that is now hanging over this doctor's life and his family's life. I'm not saying there's anything inherently wrong with operating a cash business, but it better be well defined, because the government is going to look at this they're going to look at this with a very skeptical eye. Why? Because most medical professions don't operate a cash business. They operate a business that takes payments from Medicare, from insurance companies. They operate a payment that takes checks and credit cards. But maybe this person has a legitimate reason for having a cash business. If he does, he should really document it out. In fact, one of our other businesses called Compliance Mitigation, I'll show it to you right here. Compliance Mitigation, mitigation.com. One of the things that we've done on here is we've kind of shown what a business should do for risk analysis purposes, right? And you can see how we do it ourselves. You want to create a deck that really shows the story of why did the business make specific decisions at every stage. The more you can articulate your policies and programs and what you've done, the better off you're going to become if you have to respond to an investigation. You want to have everything mapped out and said, we're a transparent organization, and this is all part of a mitigation strategy. In this era of big government, every organization should be thinking in terms of compliance and how are my business decisions related to the way that investigators are going to see me. If I don't do that, I could be in the unfortunate situation as this physician who is now being really tarnished because he operated a cash-only business. That could have been the start of the problem. Well, let's continue. Although Suboxone is approved as a drug for treating opioid addiction, Kesary provided, now this is the allegation, and now it's no longer an allegation, it's a fact at this stage, okay? Because a jury found him guilty. It's an allegation when it's an indictment. It's an allegation when it's a charge. It's an allegation when the authorities are looking at you, okay? But when a jury returns a verdict, the court system will now look at this as a fact. So now the fact that the district court found is that Kesary provided no meaningful addiction treatment. Okay, again, the importance of having a well-documented best practices storyboard of how your business operates. The sooner a person does that, the more effective that person becomes in avoiding the challenges of a government investigation. It says instead, he provided Suboxone to an undercover DEA agent. Oh, so now the story gets thicker. We've got an undercover DEA agent. That prompts a new question. Why was there an undercover DEA agent? Earlier in the video, I spoke with you about what the Controlled Substances Act is. It's something I am familiar with because I stood convicted of violating Controlled Substances Act back in 1987. I made bad decisions. I went to prison. I served 26 years because I didn't understand how government investigations operate, and I didn't understand the severity of the decisions that I was making. I may have saw myself as being a swashbuckling 20-year-old who was providing cocaine to consenting adults, but that's not how the system saw me. And so I failed to put together a very effective mitigation strategy. And clearly this doctor, it's not too late for him to be creating a good mitigation strategy, but it's more difficult when you've put the government to the test of a trial. We have to think, if there's an undercover DEA agent, there's something that happened before this DEA agent came as an undercover agent. There are some cooperating witness, something triggered this government investigation. But undercover DEA agent who was demonstrating clear signs that the Suboxone was being diverted or sold on the street. So that means the DEA agent, who has likely gone through extensive training on introducing or saying words that are going to later be used to gather evidence against somebody, all of that information is likely being recorded. And that recorded information will come back to hurt somebody. But if you, as an individual, don't understand this concept, you become more vulnerable to, well, information like I got from my defense attorney, that there's a big difference between an indictment and a conviction. Well, not in the federal system. If you look at statistics, the difference isn't that big. When the government returns an indictment, there's a very good chance that a sentencing hearing is going to follow. And I'm not making an assessment on guilt or innocence. I'm simply saying, look at the facts and articulate a strategy, engineer a strategy that will help you work towards the best possible outcome. If there's an undercover DEA agent, you know that this DEA agent has been trained to gather evidence, to elicit statements from the person that will make the person look bad in the eyes of a jury. This is really crucial. Kesary is scheduled to be sentenced on August 25th. Well, what does he know about sentencing? I know that he didn't know anything about mitigation strategies, because if he knew about mitigation strategies, he wouldn't have been in this situation. He would have done an effective risk analysis much earlier and put policies and procedures in place that would have minimized his exposure, assuming it's a he, to this problem. So he's scheduled now to be sentenced on August 25th. Today is only June the 1st. He's facing a maximum sentence of 20 years in federal prison. Now, a federal district court is going to determine any sentencing after considering the United States sentencing guidelines and other statutory factors. Well, we offer quite a bit of information of that right here. If you go to our website at Prison Professors and you go right here to the services section, go to the consulting menu and just scroll down. And when you scroll down here, you're going to find quite a few articles on all types of information that will help a person understand various aspects about the criminal justice system and about sentencing. And here's a great sentence on sentencing guidelines, tables, and loss amounts. I think that's the right one. There may be other ones. Let me look down here some more. Yeah, I guess you would start here with number 9. Sorry about this. I'm 9. Where was that? Sentencing guidelines, tables, and loss amounts. You can look at it. There's the table. You can click on this one, Basics on U.S. Sentencing Guidelines. Of course, we have a video. We have extensive information that you can use. We have sentencing calculators. We explain the system, right? This is all information that a person should know and understand when coming up with a mitigation strategy. So the more a person knows and understands, we believe the more effectively that person can prepare before being exposed to a 20-year federal sentence. Yes, the district court will consider the U.S. sentencing guidelines, but those are not mandatory. They're advisory. And so an individual has to work to make the best possible case for his leniency at sentencing. You've got to explain it. But that's not the only mitigation strategy. You've got to think about administrative processes that follow when you won't have a defense attorney, when you're in prison. And again, we've got an abundance of information. As you see here, the DEA investigated this case, and they didn't investigate this case with an intention of exonerating this individual. They had the investigation go forward with the intention of convicting and getting a very long sentence. What else do we got here? The fraud section leads the Appalachian Opioid Strike Force since its inception. In October, the strike force operates in 10 districts, has charged more than 85 people, collectively responsible for distributing 65 million pills. They're very invested in bringing more people into the system because there's an opioid epidemic in the United States. So the more you learn about mitigation, the more you learn about how the Department of Justice operates, the more you are going to realize the onus is on you to prepare a good mitigation strategy, and we encourage you to do that at the soonest possible time. I am Michael Santos with Prison Professors. I do hope that you will subscribe to our program. I want to say that you subscribe. Let's see, the videos show here. I think you want to go up there and subscribe, and you want to ring the bell so so YouTube will notify you every time we publish a new video. But we publish certainly every week, many times a week. And we encourage you to stay tuned. Visit us at prisonprofessors.com to download free information. You can get some free information from the banner of our website ad. If you're watching this on our Facebook page, make sure that you like. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe. I am Michael Santos. On behalf of our entire team, we believe in you, and we want you to get the best possible outcome. Thank you.